Hi everyone, welcome to my review of Edgar Wright's Baby Driver in 2017. Here it is on Blu-ray, and yes, we're here with the final, the most recent Edgar Wright film, of course. And yes, it's been a long time since I saw an Edgar Wright film. I was meant to be doing this last year. Of course, I think, yeah, The World's End and stuff I reviewed back in maybe September, something like that, or October. So yes, it's been quite a while. And here we are, of course, and I don't think I'll be doing the ranking actually, until maybe he's done some more films, and I've got more than 5 films to kind of rank, because it's a bit too little films to do a ranking of. I'm going to be watching A Fistful of Fingers as well, but that's not exactly meant to be a great film and stuff. So yes, this film is very very acclaimed. It's not as loved overall as Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, even Scott Pilgrim, but yeah, it's such a popular film. It's when it came out, of course, massive critical acclaim, and people saying the use of music and stuff like this, it's extraordinary. All the Edgar Wright films really though have done this. So I thought, yes, we'll watch the trailer. I rarely watch trailers, especially now. I don't really like to watch trailers too much, but this one I watched, and yeah, I think actually it's maybe one of the turning points where I just said I'm not watching trailers anymore. Once I saw this film, because the trailer didn't make it look like a great film in many ways. The way it was edited together, and it just once I'd seen the film, wow, my love for this film is something else. I think. Many times have I seen Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and stuff. I've not seen the other ones, as much. I don't like them as much either. The World's End is, it's good, but that's about it for me. Scott Pilgrim is a great film, but it's not on the level of the Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz for me personally. This film, I went to see it, at the cinema, and I thought it'd probably be really good. Trusted Edgar Wright because he's usually amazing. And let me tell you, this film actually stunned me, and actually straight away. And despite my such love for Hot Fuzz especially, and Shaun of the Dead, I think this film actually became instantly my favourite Edgar Wright film. It's that good. It just completely blew me away. Did not expect it to be this good. It was said to be one of the best films of the year. For me, it's along with one other film, very close. Definitely the best of the year, 2017. This film is a masterpiece, a flat out masterpiece. There is no flaws for me, and it done something that is not really present in Edgar Wright films really, and that has really moved me in a particular way. That he usually does comedies, and they are touching and stuff, and they combine emotion and stuff in there, but they are mostly comedies. They have drama underneath. Hot Fuzz, Shaun of the Dead, but they're not ones that really moved me in the ways that many of my other favourite films do. Of course, they're kind of just more, like kind of Doctor Strangelove. They're very high on my list, but they're more comedies. They're not ones that will completely emotionally shatter you in that sense. Really, for me, this one did. And this one has for me one of the best romances in film. And it is an action film. Kind of action drama. And it has got comedy in there, so it's kind of like a flip of what he does usually. Kind of mostly comedy, especially on the surface, and then underneath this drama. This is more definitely up front, action and a drama, and it has of course got masterful comedy in there. The editing, of course, once again plays a hand in that, but really it is very different. And of course, I've heard that his new films are going to be a kind of much more of a thriller horror film, kind of in the vein of Don't Look Now. So it's not probably going to have too much comedy in there. So it's kind of really interesting to see where he's going now. Veering away from comedy a little bit, which is really interesting. But yes, for me, this one, while it's not, it's not got the script that kind of, is more puzzle in its approach, but it has got the kind of the emotional levels that are higher, the characters that I got more invested in, and just for me, his best made film in terms of the editing, the direction, and just the overall, the way this narrative is just so perfect for me. The other two, Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead, for me are perfect films in what they're trying to do, but this one really elevates higher. When I saw this cinema, I just could not believe it. And of course, I've got it on 4K. I got this instead of the Steelbook. I preferred at the time to just get a 4K one. That was my decision. And yes, it really looks wonderful here. And this film is just pure joy, pure emotion. It kind of at times, of course, it's been commented, of course, that it's the way that he uses music is so unique. Well, first of all, he does this in a lot of his films, and they don't really get the credit for that. Kind of Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, critically especially, they don't get the credit sometimes. In the way they're kind of designed so geniusly, the editing as well, in general, the visuals, they are so genius. But this one, I think really, really, it lives up to what everyone was saying. It really is so genius in the way the music is used throughout the film. Of course, this character of Baby is an orphan. You learn very early on that his parents died in a car crash, and since then he's developed tinnitus, of course, and to kind of drown that out and help with his stuff. His kind of troubles with his hearing and stuff. Basically, listens to music most of the time. He's got an iPod and stuff, and he listens to music. And of course, he is a getaway driver for heists. Of course, mainly run by Doc, played by Kevin Spacey. And in this film, once again, as an actor, he is amazing, and he's one of for me, the greatest actors of all time. In this, he really is amazing. He plays Doc. He's basically the overseer of the heists. And there's the backstory, of course, with them, that basically he uses him for every job, Baby, because he's, basically the best and stuff. And yeah, basically he's trying to pay off this debt as well and stuff. You've got that going throughout the film. He meets Deborah, played by Lily James, and of course Ansel Elgort is just as well as Baby, absolutely amazing in this film. But Lily James as well, she's wonderful in this film. They form a romance very early on. She's kind of a waitress in this place that his mother used to work in. And yes, basically you've got John Hamm as well, who is great in the film, really is. Jamie Foxx, he's usually always great. I think so many great performances here. It's an ensemble film in that sense, and it's just a wonderful, joyous film. It's so unique and charming. The first half especially, and then it kind of goes into more darker territory. And it's more heavy on action, maybe you could say as well, and just drama as well and stuff, and the emotions of it all. The first half is more, the meeting, the romance developing. He's going on some heists. It's more, kind of upbeat and stuff, and of course, just the way that the opening is, it's such a perfect opening. First thing I noticed, yes, the editing and stuff, it's just genius. I think these are some of the very best chase scenes in cinema, actually. Really are, definitely. Some of the very best car chases. They're so well edited. Genius stuff here. It's visceral. It's so thrilling, this film. I think it's actually a better heist film than Heat. So that says a lot. That's one of my favourite films. I think this is a bit better, and it's actually something I got even more invested in. This film is a masterpiece, and actually, for me, it's another one of my, of course, Great Expectations. I reviewed that. It's in my top 100. So is this. That's how good it is, and for me, yes, very nearly the greatest film of 2017, and it's one of the best of the decade for me. When people say, what's some of your favourites of the decade, I say films like Django, of course, Harry Potter as well, the ones that came out then, of course. It's quite a few, and then Baby Driver would probably be roughly in the top 15 for me. It's that good of the whole decade. It really is a genius film, and one of the best action films of all time, really. I think definitely very high on that list as well. It's just a beautiful film. It's so human, and it's kind of like a musical at times, an actual musical. At the beginning, he's interacting with things, and of course, he's going through the streets. The music's playing, and he's kind of interacting with different objects and stuff. And there's words, there's text on different signs and everything that are actually relating to the song that's playing and stuff. And it's so wonderful. It's so kind of upbeat and kind of fantastical. And then it's such a moving film. It really got me so invested. It's one of my favourite romances, as I say. Lily James, is so good in this film. She really is wonderful. And of course, you've got this thrilling, very, very simple, of course, the plot, and stuff. But it's just so thrilling, the way it unfolds. The exposition is so good in this film. You've got some flashbacks in there, and it really is a masterful film. There's not a single flaw I have of this, and it really does elevate. Kind of just because it's so unique in its characters and its approach, and it just elevates. And the final, act of the film, for me, it's one of the best, final acts. It's certainly in modern cinema. It really is that good. It's definitely the best of the film. As I've said before, in my reviews, sometimes that's not always the case. Generally, the final act of a film is usually maybe not quite as good. As I've said, that is not always the case, of course. Some films are the best in their final act, but it's the one that can kind of definitely is the easiest to kind of falter on, and one where it doesn't quite live up to the investment of the rest of the film. Maybe if it goes all out kind of action or something where it doesn't keep up the character development and stuff. But this one actually, it's the best in the final act. It's the most emotional, the best action, and just the most kind of investing part for me. And I think the last 30 minutes of the film is just mind blowing. It really is. And this film, I think it's so intricately layered. The script, once again, is genius. Edgar Wright here. It's not, as I say, it's puzzle like as some of his other films, and it's not. This is probably his most, in many ways, his most traditional film. It's not quite as out there as really any of his other works. Scott Pilgrim, of course, you can't really say you've seen a film like Scott Pilgrim or Shaun of the Dead, really, in many ways, and Hot Fuzz. The World's End is more kind of a continuation of that, and it's not as good. But I think this film, as you can kind of compare it to many films like Heat and stuff, but I think it does bring, of course, many unique things to the table. It is more kind of a traditional narrative. It's more of a traditional kind of genre film as well, and it's just the way that it's designed is not quite comparable to something like Hot Fuzz. It's not meant to be. I think it is just more of a human drama, a love story at its heart, and it's just, for me, in terms of how it's executed, it's what it's trying to be. This film, I think, it's just even more effective than the Hot Fuzz and Shaun of the Dead. So for me, it's the best Edgar Wright film. I think it really is. It's the one where every element is just better than the rest. I think in no way really there's the other ones come close to my investment. Really, even Hot Fuzz. I think they are masterpieces. Some of the best films ever made. But this one is in my top 100. It is higher for me. It elevates me so much, and it's just a charming film, feel good film that kind of just wonderful, beautiful love story. It's very tragic at times. Even just some of the heist memories and stuff. You get so involved in all these characters. They all have great exposition. And of course, Kevin Spacey as well. Great performance here. Just really is amazing in this film. And just the whole chemistry between everyone. And of course, the way it kind of unfolds. It's constantly involving, constantly thrilling. And just a beautiful film. But really, the ending as well. It's just, wow, the ending is one of the best I've ever seen, actually. Really, really moving stuff here. It's a beautiful film, such a human one, and it's just, for me, an absolute masterpiece of cinema. And of course, just the whole, kind of way that it explores music. Edgar Wright here is doing something really, really genius here. I think Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz done this in a way, but this is very, very particular, and it's something I think actually it's even better the way it's used in the film as well. Just the whole kind of the discussion about music and the way, of course, that really amazing, memorable kind of moment where they say about kind of someone on the past job, kind of didn't go through with it because of a song. I think that was actually based off of something that really happened, knocking on heaven's door. Edgar Wright read up on or something. But yeah, that's such a standout moment. It's moments like this where they comment on music. It's kind of this as well as a heist film and stuff. It is kind of an exploration of music. The soundtrack is so wonderful. It's a perfect blend of joyous songs and rock, all this kind of stuff. The Commodores, you've got Queen in there. It's such an amazing soundtrack. It's just the way the music is used could not have been better for me. I think this is a flawless film, and it's so joyous, as I say, especially the first half, and then you've got more tragic stuff happening. Because I was so invested in this, it just really, really moved me. And then you've got, of course, as well the kind of the very, very bittersweet, final act in many ways, but really the perfect ending for me. That you could say it's more, you could say it's kind of ambiguous, but I would like to believe that it's not really. And I kind of Yeah, I'm not going to ruin it, but yes, the final act and the ending is just some of the best I've ever seen. If you've not seen the film, it's quite a seen film, of course. But if you've not seen the film, I would highly recommend it. If you like Edgar Wright, it's not to say that you're gonna like this more than Shaun of the Dead and Hot Fuzz, but for me, it's definitely better. And I love them films. They're both in my top 150, so that's extremely high. This actually gets into my top 100. So yes, it gets 100% plus tier one. Yes, I think this is one of the finest films ever made. Literally, it's that good. I think it's so perfect. Just the cinematography is really, really wonderful here. The framing, this guy knows how to frame so perfectly. I think he really is a genius here, Edgar Wright. The script, as I say, it's not kind of in the way that it's not what you'd expect from me. It's kind of it's not quite as puzzle like, but for me, it's actually kind of more investing. I got more invested in the characters, even more so. And I love them films, the other ones that I've mentioned, but this film really takes it to another level. I think Edgar Wright, just directed his film to perfection. The editing is once again genius. These are some of the best car chases I've ever seen. I've seen quite a few films, of course. The best kind of chase scene, involving typical cars and stuff, but the best chase scene probably Raiders of the Lost Ark. But this is one of the best kind of what you'd expect from like a kind of car chase scene. It really is the way it's edited, the kind of the involvement within the car as well as the exterior and just the whole kind of the way it kind of flows. These scenes, they're kind of operatic as well. The music use, it really is just wonderful. It's such a unique film. This character of Baby is one of the, as I say, one of the most unique in cinema. One wonderful performance, of course, by Elgort. Really amazing in this film. Lily James, really wonderful, tender performance. Just this romance is one of my favourites. And of course, it's a tragic film where even the kind of the side characters, I really got invested in, and whenever things happen, of course, it really moved me. And just Kevin Spacey, Jamie Foxx, all these people. John Bernthal is a small appearance in the film. But only a few minutes really. He's great when he's there. It's a comedy, but it's more of a drama, more of an action kind of film. And for me, at its heart, more than anything, is a love story, and it's just one of my very favourite films. Certainly of kind of the century. Really, is one of the very best, and it's one of them films that gets into my top 100. I can't wait to see it again. This is my third view now. Really is a wonderful film. I'd highly recommend it. This film, for me, in my eyes, is perfect, and it's the best Edgar Wright film currently. I don't see that changing anytime soon. But yes, this guy, Edgar Wright, is one of my favourite modern directors for sure. And he's probably he's in my top 25 of all time at the moment, just because of how good Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and this are, and of course as well. Scott Pilgrim actually has a place on my list of favourite films. Not as high as the rest of them, but I think that's a stunning film. The World's End it's fine, it's good, disappointing, but it's nothing special for me. But I did enjoy it. So yes, Edgar Wright, definitely one of the best modern directors. He's really something different, and something someone that can really bring something unique. But again, not just that, the way he kind of makes films, so masterful, and just so confidently in a very particular ways. His charming films, they're always hilarious, but this one is the one that really, really moved me and kind of reached emotional levels that I haven't seen from the rest of his work. Cannot wait to see what he does next. I'm sure it'll be good, probably great. And yes, this film for me is an absolute masterpiece, flawless for me. Tell me what you think in the comments, of course. So yes, Baby Driver, and if you get the chance for 4K, highly recommend it. So yes, film reviewed. As I say, the ranking, I probably won't do a ranking, based on 5 films. I'll probably wait until he's done some more works and come back and do a ranking. But if you wanted to know, you kind of probably know from this video and stuff and looking back at my other ones. But least favourite is The World's End, the 5. And then of course Scott Pilgrim, Shaun of the Dead, Hot Fuzz, and then of course this. So yes, thanks for watching my review.